happy Saturday. This video we are looking at the NFL Draftkings and Fanduel picks for week 6. Crazy, we are already a third of the way through the season after this week concludes. We have a 10-game slate over on Draftkings, one more on Fanduel. Let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out the other links in the description. Last video, picks didn't do great, see if we can bounce back with this one. There are a couple of really high total games with high totals this week. One in the early game is the Washington Commanders against the Ravens. And then in the afternoon game, you got the Cowboys against the Detroit Lions. Those two are going to be the best games to target if you're looking to stack them up. And last week, a stack worked out perfectly if you stacked up that Ravens and Bengals game. Probably would have hit easily if you did a Burrow double stack and then you brought it back with a couple Ravens. Starting off at the quarterback position, you have Lamar and Jaden Daniels. Both are really good plays going up against each other. Both defenses have struggled a bit. Lamar's been great last few weeks, putting up good totals overall, running the ball, getting rushing touchdowns, passing, finding his open receivers. So I like him. He's expensive though. And then you have Jaden Daniels, who continues to utilize his legs a lot. He's gotten over 80 rushing yards 2 of the 5 weeks already. And, he has been connecting with Terry McLaurin a lot recently, so he's got a good weapon there. They got a good running game, even though, Eckler can catch the ball at the backfield, even though Brian Robinson's questionable. And then tight end-wise, Ertz, veteran, knows how to get open, get some short passes to him. I like those two a lot more than Hurts and Stroud as your other 7K options. 6K range, I think you can go to Dak Prescott this week. 67 at home last few weeks. Well, last week he had a great final drive to get them the win. It was kind of an ugly weather game in Pittsburgh. It was delayed a lot. And now he gets to go back home in Dallas against a pass defense that has been bad. Cowboys don't have much of a running game besides Dowdle. So I think Prescott's going to throw a ton. He does give you big upsides because they will throw a ton. 350 yards plus last week, 379 against the Ravens. I think it's another week where you're probably going to get 300 plus yards. Missing Cooks, so it's easy to stack him with either Tolbert, stack him with Ferguson, or obviously this main stack will be with CD. But I like him at 67. I think you can also go Jared Goff at 64. Another one, if you want to go on the other side of that game, Kirk Cousins coming off one of the best games of his life. 509 yards is just insane. Obviously, he's not going to get that done. Maybe he can get close to 300 this week against Carolina, but it could also be a game that they're comfortably ahead, and then they run the ball a little bit more, get Bijan involved. I think it's a good play, but I like a close game, potentially with the Cowboys, one that should be a shootout. And then 5K range, I'm not interested in really anybody. I think there's some better plays. I think Fields could be one just to give you some upside against a poor Raiders team that gives you some rushing upside. He does have a big ceiling, but he also has a lower floor. Over at the running back position, you got a couple guys out. Taylor is out. Stevenson is out. Some questionable tags. Rashad White's a big one, doubtful. So you expect him to miss. Top end, 2 guys over 8,000. Henry gets a great spot against the Commanders. They not good against the run. Gives you upside. You're going to probably need multiple touchdowns out of him to hit value unless he just breaks off a couple big runs. Still doesn't get too involved in the passing game. Barkley against the Browns defense. The Browns overall, their offense has been bad. Their defense tries to do as much as they can, but they haven't been as good against the run than they have been in years past. And the Eagles are getting healthier. Brown is back, and I think Smith will be back as well. So coming off a bye week. Barkley's a good play, but 82. I'm looking to go a little bit cheaper at this position. Jahmyr Gibbs, 7,000. It's always tough with him and Montgomery picking the one that gives you the most upside. Ultimately, they kind of cut into each other's production, and you'll get guys with both guys will probably give you good games, but in terms of winning tournaments, you're gonna need like a really spectacular game. It's kind of tough to pick and choose when you got guys take both running backs getting double-digit carries every week. I'm going with guys that I know are going to get more of the workload. You have Josh Jacobs against the Cardinals. Good spot here. They've been bad against the run. Finally got into the end zone last week. But personally, I'm going Tony Pollard all the way down at $6,000. You do have J.K. Dobbins with Gus Edwards banged up, if you want to target him at 62, but this is a good spot against the Colts defense. Second worst against the rush so far this year. Pollard gets touches out of the backfield, also catching passes, and they're still, the Tennessee's a team that likes to run the ball, so they're always going to be looking to run, and I think they definitely have a good spot to kind of take advantage of that against the Colts defense. And then with Rachaad White doubtful, I am going to be taking Bucky Irving, super cheap at $5,400, affordable. He's going to get him to be a full workload, 15, 20 plus touches. I like the spot, even though the Saints are a good rush defense, but he can catch passes out of the backfield, and the Bucs offense has been really good all season except for like one game where they struggled. And the Saints defense has been, the Saints start off really hot, but they've kind of been leaking oil a little bit the last few weeks. Over at wide receiver, if you're playing Prescott, you probably want to stack him with a receiver or tight end. I have the salary going cheap at running back to just pay up for CeeDee Lamb. He's probably due for like a big slate breaking week. Hasn't happened yet. And on this slate, I think he is the wide receiver that I want to pay up for. You have St. Brown on the other side, Nico Collins on IR, so some of the other ones are out. Adams is out. You have A.J. Brown returning at 78 against the Browns defense, but they're typically decent against the pass. So I'm going with CeeDee Lamb as my pay up. Other guys that are somewhat appealing, Jaden Reed, 7,000 against the Cardinals defense. 6K range looks really good. You got Drake London at 67. I'm going to target him. Great spot against the Panthers, even if you're not stacking him with Kirk. 25 targets the last 2 weeks. He's getting looks in the end zone. Touchdowns 3 of 4. He's their top weapon, catching the ball. And then they mix in Mooney and they mix in Ray McLeod. Pitts is up and down, but London's going to get peppered with targets you'd expect. And then another wide receiver that you got to like that's been emerging, that's in a high total game, that gives you a ton of upside is Terry McLaurin. So Jay Daniels not afraid to take deep shots with him. They finally started getting him involved after they said that in week 3. And he's had 3 straight games over 17 fantasy points. Another spot where they're going to look to utilize a pass against a good Ravens defense against the run. So give me McLaurin. Go with a couple guys in 6K range. Pair him with CeeDee Lamb. Go with some running backs to give you a ton of upside. And you're going to have to go cheap at tight end and defense to get a decent flex. But I think that's the route I want to go. 5K range, Shaheed. New quarterback, so I'm not looking to really target him. I think the Bucs defense, probably a really good defense this week. They're cheap. You got Mooney at 53. You have Jaden Tolbert, at 5,000 flat. He's a good value pick. And then $4,000 range, Raver McLeod, Bateman. You can get up one piece of the Ravens game. He's cheap. Tight end wise, I like the Ferguson. I think Laporta's due for a good game. Brock Bowers, you can target him because Adams is out and Myers may miss. And then value-wise, it's probably K-Dotton at 35, who's getting targeted, gives you some good floor, and he's still looking for his first touchdown, which could come at any point. Defense, Bucs defense against a new quarterback, rookie quarterback making his debut is definitely one that you want to look to. Be popular, though, if you want to be a little bit different. Maybe going up to, the Broncos or Packers defense. If you don't want to go all the way up, but you got the Steelers at 37. I'm probably going to be going down below 3,000. Eat the chalk in cash games with the Bucs defense. Even in tournaments, I think it's fine. But that's what I got over on DraftKings. Fanduel is pretty similar. Well, same picks I got over on DraftKings. Dak paired with Lamb, McLaurin, London as the other 2 upside wide receivers. Going Irving and Pollard at running back. Sermon's another good cheap play at $6,000 on FanDuel. Tight end wise, I do like Ferguson and Laporta. They're affordable, 63, 61. And then you can go down K-Don at 52 if you want to. And then defense, same deal. Bucs defense cheap on FanDuel as well. They are $3,700. Pay up a little bit. Maybe the Colts defense if you're not playing Pollard. Otherwise, like the Chargers. Maybe the Bengals. I'll probably take the Packers over the Bengals. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Not paying all the way up at defense on FanDuel. But these 6 players still easy with almost 53 left. You got a defense, tight end. You can still get a decent flex in there. So that's what I got for my picks this week. Best of luck. If you are tailing some of them, let me know other picks that you like. And I will catch you all next time.